Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and welcome to another session of Not Perfect Zen. I'm happy to be here. I'm going to focus on 102 Tangles of Zentangle again, and if you're new to this playlist, the 102 Tangles of Zentangle is a poster that was released by Zentangle in 2009, and it is the poster, it is the whole thing that introduced me to Zentangle. And I have been a CZT for 4 years now, and I decided to really look closely at those patterns, and that's what I'm showing you. Not every pattern that's on that poster, but a lot of them. I'm always finding quotes that I really like, and I just wanted to share this one. This is from Adrian Michael on Instagram. You don't have to impress anyone to prove you're impressive. All you have to do is just be you, and that is enough. That's so important for us to remember. All right, let's get started. If you've looked at some of my recent posts, I did a few of these tiles where I was considering using this string for the upcoming Inktober tangles, but then I decided not to. I'm not going to use it. But I still want to show you some of the patterns that I have on here. This is Be Light. This is Bales, and this is Warble. And I'm going to show you Bales and Warble today. This one is Pinch, but we'll get to those another time. And for our supplies today, I have a 3.5-inch tile, and I will be using mostly a Micron 01, but I just want to let you know that I do use a variety of sizes of pens. This PN is about the size of an 05, but this is a plastic nib pen, and I like to use it when I have a lot of dark areas to fill in, like this, and then I don't ruin my pen so easily. So use any size pen that you want, use any paper that you want. And other thing we'll be using is a graphite pencil. You can use any pencil. Blending stump, also known as a tortillon. And I keep a little paper clip handy to push that tip out like that. Okay, because I push it in all the time. So let me show you again. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to make a grid, and again, this is Warble. This is a version of Bales that is on the 102 Tangles poster, and then this is called Chillon, C-H-I-L-L-O-N, and you can do it kind of in a, what I would call a wonky grid, or you can do it in a straight grid. That's up to you. And on this tile, you can do your grid either way and still follow what I'm telling you and be able to do it. All right. So we always start with gratitude. I just noticed this tile has some marks on it, so I'm going to erase those. I am grateful for my Zentangle supplies. I am daily grateful for the Zentangle method and what it has done for me. And I'm very grateful to be able to teach it to you. And I hope you enjoy it. So let's zoom in. Oops. Sorry about the wobble. We are going to start with just not a very big border. So we're going to do our 4 corner dots, and I like to turn my tile as I do this. It just helps me to see this edge and try to keep my lines straight. And just for this outside border, I want it to be fairly consistent. And if you're going to do this straight grid, then of course you would just divide it, okay, so that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns and 6 rows. And I'm going to do this one for today, and so I'm going to go to my Micron 01. I am not going to fill in this edge, and I'm just going to start making some kind of curvy rows. Okay, again, these don't have to be perfect. My patterns, my tangling, they're not perfect. My videos are not perfect. Just do your best. And I'm attempting to have these be about the same size as we go down. Okay, for reference, if I put the barrel of my pen on there, you can see it's a little bit wider than that. Excuse me. And now I'm going to turn it and do the same thing coming in this direction. And one of the nice things about doing it this way is to show you that you don't have to have a perfect grid to do these patterns. And one of the things that I've come to love about these older patterns is that they're simple, they're easy to remember, and easy to use, easy to draw. Okay, I think I'm going to put another one right there. All right, so let's see how many we ended up with here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right, so this one had 6, but that's okay. We're going to start in the center, and we're going to do Bales first. And you probably know Bales. It's one of the popular, widely used patterns, and it's very often used in the Introduction to Zentangle classes because it not only shows you a grid, but a simple design. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus first on these 2 rows because we're going to do something similar to this. So in the center, I'll go ahead and start over here. For Bales, we're simply going to put these little rice shapes on each side of these lines. And I'll probably, let's see, let's just do these first 2 and we'll decide if we want to do another one. Okay, so on each side of this line, just a simple C shape, which gives you kind of the look of a kernel of rice. And I will try to focus and not take too much time on this. Oops, sorry, I bumped my camera. And I normally just take my time because this is a relaxing pattern. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one more. Like I said, I really enjoyed doing these older patterns and doing the classic tiles. I don't do well trying to figure out colors, and I prefer to do black ink on a white tile or black ink on a tile that's already been colored. Okay, so we did 3 rows. Going this way. Now I'm going to turn it and do the same thing coming down this way. Now where it goes off the tile or the border, just kind of pretend it's going up and then just stop. Right. And as we move down on this, you'll begin to see what they call a meta pattern. And what that means is we've added just this grid and these little shapes inside here. And then you begin to see kind of an orb there. Okay, I forgot to go up this way. Again, I like that these patterns are easy to remember after you've done them a couple of times. If you just want to sit down and relax, this is a fun pattern to do. Okay, just keep coming down. Okay, a lot of times this is what you see as the finished pattern for Bales, but in the Zenthology, they show a different center. Okay, so we're going to just go inside and kind of follow the center aura. Okay, we're going to aura inside. So we're adding a square inside each one of these. On this side, we're not going to see the whole thing, so we'll just put a little bit. Same thing over here. We're going to come in and just assume it would have gone on. All right, so just keep filling these in. And I don't care if they look perfect. If I were taking my time, they might look a little better. But, like I say many times, this isn't a contest. We're not getting graded. We're just doing this to enjoy the zen, enjoy the relaxation. And that's what I get from the classic tiles like this. I'm able to relax and just enjoy drawing. And when you have a pattern like this, that's simple and repetitive, then it's easy to get into it, which is exactly how Zentangle was discovered, because Maria was working on a piece of art that had a lot of repetitive work on it, and she just really got into it. And I'm glad she did. Oh, I can see I forgot that one there. And here you would just see a corner of it. Okay? And then the next thing that they do is to split these in half. And so here's half of that one. And then we're just going to fill it in. And I'm going to do this kind of fast. And then I'll come back and fill those in a little bit better. But that's also one of the reasons I have the Micron PN. So I'm going to switch to this one just for that center part. So we're going to do them all the same. And, you know, I've looked through the Zenthology many times, but I really didn't notice this variation until I saw it on the 102 Tangles of Zentangle poster. Okay, so that would go up that way a little bit. All right. Again, just we're going to divide these little squares in half and fill them in. I actually bought some new PNs yesterday. I think I only had one left that wasn't dried out. And it finally gave up. So I had to get some new ones. Okay, so I don't add music to my videos because I found in the very beginning that I got comments from a few people who said that they couldn't concentrate on what I was saying if there was music in the background. And I don't speed up my videos. I allow you to speed them up if you want to. You can fast forward, do whatever is best for you. You can decrease the speed if I'm going too fast. But I give that option to you. I feel very stressed when I try to watch a video that is sped up, so that's the main reason I don't do it. Okay. A lot of filling in on this, but it has a nice effect. And if these don't look just right, I will come back and add a little love to each of these, as Maria says, to fix it. Okay, that one looks kind of strange, but it's okay. All right. So there we have this version of Bales. And next I'm going to do this one called Chillon, Chillon. And with Chillon, we only put the little C curves on two sides of the square. Now, since we have this one already from Bales, I'm just gonna emphasize that a little bit for you. And I'm gonna continue using my PN. Okay, so this one is the top part, and then we're just going to do one side that connects to that top part. Okay, come down to the next row. I went over my pencil line a little bit, and that's okay. So these need to have that same arc on these this side. And as I add these, you start to see that it makes a half circle, semicircle. This one would come out this way. Okay. Now, one of the versions of this that I saw, and I can't remember who did it, it was in the Mosaic app. She put little dots along here, and I thought that was really cool. Gives it a little drama. So just quickly adding a few dots along your line. And again, you can take your time and make these a little bit bigger if you want, spaced exactly right, but I'm not worrying about it. Just little details. I really enjoy looking through the Mosaic app for ideas. If you don't have it, it is free. There is a free version. There's also a paid version. With the paid version, you're able to, I think, do a little bit more intensive search, but you're also able to upload your own tiles. whenever I'm going to teach a class, I always do a lot of searching through the Mosaic app and the Facebook groups, Instagram, things like that, to get just a little bit different idea to share with you. Okay. Tiny details. And again, this is something you can put on there or leave it off. Totally up to you. This is your art. Make it the way that you want it. And the nice thing about watching me do this is you can decide if you like it or not. Okay, one more down here. Okay, there we have missed one. Did I miss any others? Maybe a little bit there. Okay, so now we're going to do warble. And warble starts out just like Chillon, as far as it only has the C curve on two sides of the grid. Okay, so let's go over here. And again, we are going to start with this part. And I'm going to go ahead and make that darker just so you see. So this top edge is going to be one of the edges for warble. And then we're going to come down here. And you could do either side. I'm just doing mine on the left side. So, and just, that's as much as you want. We're not going to put anything on the other. We're not going to do anything on this side. Okay. And then same thing on this row. All right. And we're going to fill these in. And I'm going to try to not go too fast because I get sloppy. So we're only filling in half of this, okay? Just this top edge. Because the rest of this now belongs to Bales. Let's see. Okay. And again, like I said, if you had a perfect grid like on this side, a perfectly square grid. It's all going to look, or you're going to fill them in the same. It's just the grid is a little bit different. Okay, now I'm going to turn and do this edge. And I will come back and fill these in a little bit better. I always do that before I take my final photo. Okay, there'll be another one here. Okay, so let me show you for Warble. This is what we've done so far. This and this, and we filled it in. Okay, let me do one more over here. Oops. Sometimes my hand gets this little weird thing where it goes boop. And I end up with a weird mark on my art. But it's okay. Okay, so the next step is to make these little R lines. And just watch me here first, because this is how mine tend to go. But the perfectionist in me wants my center point to line up, if you see what I mean. If I were to go across, it kind of goes out like that. So what I like to do is just make a simple pencil line from here to here. And then when I go back and start doing my auras, this is where I'm going to make my turn. And I don't know if you can see the difference, but I see the difference. And in the end, we're going to come in here and shade it anyway, so that pencil line is going to be fine. Okay, so I just wanted to explain why I am now going to put just a simple line between the corners. All right, so I am going to switch back to my Micron 01. And then start putting these little R lines. And when we're finished with this, the shading will really make a difference. Well, shading makes a difference on all tiles. going to make that one just a little bit bigger. Same here. Okay, just little touch-ups. So now, go here. And I am putting 4 in each one. You could do these closer together and do more if you'd like. Okay, we can't see that one, so we'll just do it like that. Here's our center, so we're going to stop on that. And just one there. Oh, one here. Okay. Thankfully I stayed on the screen. Oh, I get so involved in that I forget what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to get my PN again just to take care of a couple little spots that are standing out to me. So I do like to darken these in all the way. Sometimes I use a graphic one, which is kind of like using a marker. Let's see. So this is a graphic one, and it has a thick tip. So a Micron 01, a PN, and a graphic one are my favorite pens to use. Okay, I'll come back on that. Let's go ahead and start on the shading. So we'll start over here with Chillon, and I'm just going to point my graphite pencil toward that line with the beads on it. Go ahead and put your graphite over the little beads. We want to touch that line, but we don't want to put any light in there. And well, what I mean is you don't want to leave any space without your graphite. So when you're shading, you don't want your graphite to be out here, away from what you're shading. You want it to be right up next to it, okay? So where were we? And these end up looking kind of like pillows when you're done. I'm sorry if I bumped the camera. And just start out with a little. You can always come back and put more. Some people like a lot of shading and graphite. You don't need a lot, but it does make a difference. I didn't do a lot of shading when I first started out, but once I figured it out, it really makes a difference. Okay, now with my blending stump, I'm just going to soften this and pull it a little towards the center. And what I'm trying to do is make sure that I just don't have a harsh edge on here. This is just meant to be a shadow. If you think you have too much graphite, this is a kneaded eraser, and it's able to just kind of lift it up a little bit if you think there's too much. And I think I did put a little too much. And then after you do that, go back and blend that again. Okay, I think that looks better. And this just gives it some dimension. Like I said, if you go through and look at the Mosaic app, there are some fantastic artists out there that can inspire you. My goal is to teach you the basics on some of these easier patterns, and by getting your confidence built up on these easy patterns, you can learn to follow some of the more detailed things that you see. Okay, so there is Chillon. For Bales, I'm just going to come in here and put some graphite at the intersection of these petals. So I'm just kind of going in a circle right there at the base of it. You can also put little dots at the center of these. Yeah, so kind of like what I did here. You can add darker dots at the center of the grids. You know, do what I call what if. What if I do this? What if I add more graphite? What if I add a dot? And then you begin to know what you think looks good and doesn't. Okay, down on these. Okay, now we're going to take our blending stump, and I'm just going to push toward the center of each of these petals, but I'm not going to fill it up. What I'm trying to do is leave a little area highlighted, and it makes it look like the petal is rounded. Okay, so we're just gonna keep softening the graphite on these petals. And it looks like I forgot to put my graphite down on a couple of these, but there's usually enough graphite left on your blending stump to continue. And just remember to turn your tile to keep your hand comfortable. Remember to relax your shoulders, breathe. Again, we want to keep this very center clean, I guess. Want to keep it white. Yep, I didn't put anything on that one. And again, you can make these as dark or as light as you would like. Add color. I don't add color to these when I'm teaching you because, number one, it's easier for me to teach in black and white. And it allows you to decide how you want yours to look. And I know that there are some of you out there, and you know who you are, that are going to come up with some beautiful, colorful versions of this tile. I'm always excited to see what you do. And I'm also excited to see what you do in black and white. Okay, so we're just putting graphite down that center line, like I showed you in the beginning. And I'm making these a little bit darker than what I did on the others. And then my blending stump. And I'm going to soften that in the center and just kind of push it a little bit toward that other side. But I want to leave this white. And it makes it look like it kind of folds in. Okay. If you wanted to, you could go all the way around with your graphite or blending stump and finish off this border, but I'm just going to leave it like it is. Excuse me. All right, so you can decide which side you want to be up, which side you want to be down, and find a spot to add your chop. Sometimes I just look on the back of my tile. And okay, we'll let that be the top. And let's add our chop. Okay, I'm gonna slip mine right in here. And I have seen where some people hide their chops within the tile. But I never think to do that. All right, there we go. So that again was Warble, Bales, and Chillon. And I hope you enjoyed that. That was 3 more of the 102 Tangles of Zentangle. And I look forward to seeing what you've done. If you don't have social media, you can always send me an email, notperfectzen@gmail.com. I have a few people that send me their tiles that way, and I love it. If you do post, please use @BBLTangles, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram. I will get the notice for it. And here's our finished tile. And again, here's the first one. This is from my sketchbook that I made. I took a sketchbook and cut it in half and then put this on so that I can put it in my disc-bound system. And there's information in the description for that if you're interested. All right, thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate it and hope that you'll join me again. Thanks. Bye.